Hello everybody, welcome to the cabin. Welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. I'm going to start this one off right off the bat. We're not even going to get into some of these really cool sales today. I'm going to go right into the topic. This might be my last video. They might cancel me after this one. You think the video I did a couple weeks ago, Time to Set the Record Straight, was a little bit much? Well, this one might be a little bit. Dave and Carrie might even kick me off of the podcast after this one. I had no idea what this video was going to be about. And I'm sitting at my boys' baseball practice, and I'm watching them out there. It's a beautiful day. My daughter's over here playing with her friend. I've got my phone out. I'm doing a little editing of a video, and my phone is buzzing in my pocket. Buzzing, buzzing. I'm like, what is going on? Keep editing, keeps buzzing. I'm like, what is going on? Pull it out, and these comments are rolling in. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, they were awful. They were terrible. And some of them were just flat wrong, and I'm like, this is crazy. Now I'm like, I know what this video is going to be about because you got me riled up. But we got to take a look. Well, you know what? We're going to do it different today. We're going to tell you the topic today. I'm going to read some comments that really got me going. There's a few things that get me going, you know. And so I started answering some of these comments, and some more came in. I'm like, what in the world is going on? This was in reaction to a video that was posted here on the Flipper channel about 10 days ago that finally made it to the Facebook page and got a totally different reaction at first. And I was worried. I'm like, did I read this audience wrong? I didn't think I did. And then the other comments started rolling in, and that made me a little happier. And you know what's crazy about this whole thing is I undoubtedly lost a viewer, and I also lost an eBay customer. This person who wrote this comment that I responded to and just blew up into this, as somebody called it, a hornet's nest, said, you know what, just cancel my order. I'm like, oh boy, this guy just bought something. So have I lost a viewer? I have also lost a customer over this. But you know what? I think it's something that resellers need to start saying. There are two lies out there that constantly are causing people's opinions of resellers to go to the floor. And the reality is this profession, not only is it noble and okay and ethical, it's awesome. This is a message that a lot of people need to hear. A lot of people out there need to know the good sides. And there are far more. Matter of fact, everything about reselling is good. There's really nothing negative about it at all. And there are millions of people who do it and help their families and help their communities and stay off the dole. And I'm proud of that. And if I have to, you know, lose a viewer, I hope not, because this gentleman seems like he's perfectly fine. But you know what? Sometimes people have to stand up and say, you know what, this isn't right. And this is causing damage to people I like, to friends of mine, to me. And people come after me. And so after we talk about this topic a little bit, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll show you some of the comments that people like us out there have to read all the time. Well, we don't have to, I suppose. Also, don't mistake my passion for negativity. This is a positive message, and it's really the negativity of others that is holding back this positive message that so many of us love to share in this community because it's completely changed our lives in many ways. So this Skeletor right here, speaking not of positive, sold pretty darn quick. And a viewer said, hey, that thing wasn't listed, and it wasn't. And they're like, I want it. And I'm like, okay, I'll list it. And then they wanted something else, and I'm like, I'll list that too. And I put good prices on them because I didn't want the viewer to pay a lot for it. And I make this mistake all the time. And they sold really quickly, and I don't think either sold to that particular viewer. So anyway, Skeletor right there. Without the sword, $29.99 plus shipping. And so you don't call me a liar, it was $29. Okay. Here's the comment that started this whole thing. And maybe I shouldn't have responded this way. I don't know, but I'm kind of glad I did because it got people who usually kind of sit on the sidelines. There are tons of resellers who watch this channel and who watch the Facebook channel as well. I want to talk about that in a minute, but let me read this comment. I typically love your videos, top fan right here, but your bias is pretty high in this one. Pretty ironic considering you start the video accusing the story of bias. First of all, I'm an AP World History teacher. I was for years. Everybody has a bias. Bias isn't good or bad. It's not like, you know, you're a racist or something. We all come from our own experience. We all come from our own bias. I have a bias. There's no doubt I have a bias. So do you. And my point was the author of that article, I didn't even tell you what article it was. It was the video that we did on this channel, you might remember it, about rich kids destroying thrift stores. And of course, my argument was that rich kids didn't destroy thrift stores. The whole basis of the argument was a fallacy. And resellers don't destroy thrift stores, but people who buy from thrift stores, that's the point. Thrift stores are in business to sell things. And that was the whole point, that rich kids can't ruin thrift stores by buying things at thrift stores. That's the intended purpose. All right, now that you have the context for it, here's the statement. You are lumping Goodwill, the company, with the many charities that are intended for the poor, like the DAV and the Salvation Army. It's not true. And it is the fact that resellers get there when the store opens and buy most things of value or name branded before the poor shop it. Okay, there's your first statement. I'm going to bounce back and forth for just a second here, just because there are some things that sold. 15 bucks for that green insulator that's sold right there. Brookfield. A lot of insulators aren't worth much money at all, just FYI. I bought like 50 of them, and these are the ones I pulled out that were worth selling. A lot of them just simply are. But that one sold for $15 plus shipping. All right, back to the story here. So this person says, all right, that resellers go there, and when the store opens, they buy everything of value and all the name branded stuff before the poor people can get there. Okay, is that the reseller's right? Sure, that's what he says. Is that their right to do that? Sure it is. Is it right in the world of right and wrong to do that? No way. No way. That's what he says. I'm like, okay. Your comment, he was talking about my comment in the video, that if a poor person needs a shirt, there are plenty of shirts left for them. It was in poor taste and misses the point. Okay. My whole point was, you're missing the point. It's very, very true. If you go into any thrift store, there are millions of pieces of clothing that are getting thrown away. Millions of pieces. The point of the thrift store, once again, is to make money for their intended mission. And the mission of thrift stores can vary greatly. 99% of thrift stores, here's the big fallacy. And this is what gives people like me a bad name. And I don't even thrift, for goodness sake. I do very sparingly. But I know people, look, I got Crazy Lamp Lady up here. Is she robbing those dishes from the poor? This is the whole fallacy. The argument has got to fall flat, and there are so many people who believe this lie, that thrift stores are intended to put clothes on the back of poor people. If they were intended to put the clothes on the back of poor people, the prices would be far, far, far lower, and the thrift store itself would take all of the goods that are worth money, which they're kind of doing anyway, some of it, and resell it on their own and put good quality clothing on the racks for very, very cheap that would not appeal to resellers. The reason they don't do that is because their missions are all different. The DAV is not to give stuff to poor people. It's not to give stuff to disabled veterans. If it wasn't, then they would only allow disabled veterans to go to the store. Here's an awesome sale that some people, well, I didn't get it from a thrift store. I got it from a garage sale, and I think I paid $10. I remember somebody telling me in that garage sale that I missed a bunch of good stuff next to it, and I probably did. I was probably so excited to grab this that I probably missed some other stuff. The Bandit Workman right here. These new can go over 200 bucks. This is in really nice condition. And, you know, you catch that old CB material, you know, grab it. The Bandit, I wonder if it's anything to do with Smokey and the Bandit. At any rate, that one is a little base station mic, and it is awesome. It sold, I think paid $10, sold for $175 plus shipping. I'm actually going to read the mission statement of the DAV here in a second, but before I do, I want to thank all those folks over there on Facebook, because the comments started to change tide after I put a response in there, and that's why I do it. A lot of people tell, don't respond, you know, whatever. There's a lot of trolls out there. First of all, this gentleman was not a troll by any stretch of the imagination. He just wasn't, okay? He was polite. He didn't name call. He gave his opinion. I simply pointed out where his opinion is not only wrong, it's actually hurtful and harmful, not only to resellers' reputations, but also to those charities themselves. And I'll explain what I mean here in a second. But thank you to the folks on Facebook. Here's how I know this isn't the popular opinion on Facebook. When I took over my own Facebook page, which sounds a little odd, but I had a company running it for me for a while because I just don't have the time. I just simply don't have the time to do it. And I took it back over and I decided, I had to make a decision. Do I want to put this content on that channel or just let it be successful over there and, you know, just as a picking channel and people enjoy it and whatever? I'm like, you know what? I think there is a point to be made to a lot of people who are not resellers, that what we do is actually a good and noble profession in hundreds of different ways. So let me read this statement. This is the DAV's mission statement. Providing free professional assistance to veterans and their families in obtaining benefits and services earned through military service and provided by the Department of Veterans Affairs and other agencies of the government. So how do they fulfill that mission? I would argue that if it wasn't for resellers, they wouldn't be fulfilling that mission nearly as much. I would argue maybe 50% less. Because I used to, when they had a DAV here in town, I would go there all the time and buy stuff to resell it. Was I keeping that stuff out of the hands of disabled people, disabled veterans, or poor people? No, I was funding that mission. Resellers are doing a service for thrift stores. And the fact that there are so many of us doing it has increased the prices and provided an even greater service for thrift stores. Look at this, y'all. Everything that's selling is coming off of this shelf here so far, or coming off of over here. I haven't had to go in the back yet. This, I gotta figure out who this one is right here. Hold on. It's Butter Cookie Doll and Jelly Bear, I think is what it's called. $14.25 plus shipping. And this one is to a viewer, and this actually makes a bit of my point. So not only are we helping our own families, you know, we're helping these charities. I know that's not popular, and I know I complain about the Goodwill, and there's a reason why, but it's not because I don't like paying up. There's actually a different reason, but I'm not going to get into that today. All right, this is the other point. There are so many lives being made better by this. Kids' lives, families' lives, reducing debt. You know, this side hustle brings so much joy, so much peace to people that there are untold benefits on all sides of this equation. All right, hi Kevin, thanks so very much for this wonderful addition to my personal shortcake collection. Your videos help my husband and I start our journey in December. We've sold just under 300 items with 500 listed. That's awesome for a newbie for sure. I'm full-time visiting home nurse and part-time eBayer. So my days are full, but my husband and I still look forward to your videos. God bless you and your family with years of health. Chrissy and Dustin. That Vintage Shop 2022. P.S. Tell your kitties hello for us. Thank you very much. Look now, the bearded thrift machine here. My buddy Julian. Stop stealing from the poor, you know. The poor people out there need their source book for Vampire the Masquerade for $6 plus shipping. And, you know, I am sarcastic. I get it. And sometimes it doesn't come off the right way. But I use sarcasm to make the argument. I mean, that's the argument, right? If these stores were designed for what so many people think they're designed for, they wouldn't sell that. They wouldn't complicate their lives with this stuff, right? They just simply wouldn't, you know. Do they, you know, you see my point? They would simplify the process a little bit, but thrift stores are in the business of making money, and that's okay. I'm not being critical. I'm in the business of making money. You're in the business of making money. We're all in the business of making money to some degree or another. They're also trying to fulfill their mission. Now, you can disagree with a thrift store and you can be mad at them because you don't like the way they go about it. I see people mad at thrift stores all, you know, they call it the greed will or whatever. Okay, I get it, because we don't want to pay those prices, right? But I have zero problem with people trying to get market value for their items. In this case, the market value at a thrift store is lower than if you bring it to a market of hundreds of millions of people online. The reason is because there takes a lot of labor to get it to that bigger marketplace, as opposed to just having people drop stuff off, putting a sticker on it, and putting it out in the store. It's a lot more labor involved in it. I'm really happy to see a banner sell. This is a soccer banner, and this one sold, I paid $1, and it sold for $10 plus shipping. I'm going to continue on this comment here. I see many resellers who solely focus on thrift stores, and I won't buy from them or watch their videos. So this person bought from me, apparently because I mostly source from garage sales and not thrift stores. So the point he's trying to make here, he says, hopefully others do the same. In other words, if there's a bunch of viewers out there who stop buying from thrift store resellers, and he does garage sales too, but I mean, there's a lot of you creators out there who are thrift store folks, and there's a huge part of this audience, both on Facebook and on YouTube, who shop at thrift stores. And so the point he's trying to make here is that he will stop watching if you consistently go to thrift stores, and he won't buy from you if you consistently go to thrift stores. And he says, hopefully that will change the resellers' pattern to get them out of thrift stores. My argument is that is a huge detriment to those charities. They want us in those thrift stores. Boy, I sound like Jack Nicholson. They need us in those thrift stores. They want us in those. But it's true. Think of all the millions and millions of dollars raised to help disabled veterans. For the I have criticized Goodwill because I think in certain instances Goodwill has gotten off of their mission. I don't criticize the Goodwill for their high prices alone. I criticize them because I'm not certain, and I could be wrong, but I hear all kinds of stuff all the time, and I have decent sources that there are some issues in Goodwill that probably should be addressed. I love thrift stores. I love charity. And we don't talk about it often, but it does get me all riled up sometimes when people criticize the ethics of me, my family, other resellers, when I know how generous this community is. I see it behind the scenes and sometimes in front of the camera as well. So that kind of thing does get me all riled up. There is, as far as I've seen in the communities I've been around, and I'm not around a ton of communities, but in the different communities I've been around, there is nothing that compares to the generosity of resellers. And I think it goes to their core. I think it goes to the type of people that resellers are. I think a lot of resellers are at their core. They love the freedom of it. They don't want to be tied down. They're generous spirits. They want to travel. They want to see the world. They want to help people. They want to, that's just the type of community that I know this community is. Just as an example, I'm constantly being sent stuff from resellers and stuff of actual value. The generosity knows no bounds. When we do a fundraiser, it's insane. We saw all these stickers, and I say it, but people don't always get it. $1 of everything that goes to our store. We sell a sticker for $5.99. A buck of it is going to a charity. We give so much. Not us. We give so much. Because everybody who buys something, we send something somewhere else. And we do it constantly. I'm not tooting our own horn right here. What I'm trying to say is this whole community gives and gives and gives. And this is an example, and apparently they give to me and I sell their stuff. So this came from a viewer. I think it did. You tell me if you sent this to me, and then tell me if you told me keep it or do a charity auction with it or something. This actually got out into the shed, and I think Reagan took a picture of it, and I think Bubba's girlfriend listed it, because I would have kept this, I would have signed it, and I would have done a charity auction. So my apologies to whoever gave this to me, but we're going to ship it out, and I'll make sure that this, I'll tell you what, you tell me where you want us to give for this particular hat right here, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to send it $14.50 maybe, plus shipping. I'm going to read the mission statement of Salvation Army as well, and I want to talk about some more charities here. Kevin and family, thanks for all you do. Happy to buy this ball cap. I'm gonna look good in the coach's box. We're a household of Cubs fans, so this is perfect for us. Even our black cat Santo might like it. Good luck to Turner with the baseball season. We're just getting ramped up for ours. So Chad, thank you. I appreciate it. I keep the NWO stickers inside in a particular place, so I'm gonna do this one and a couple more orders today. How much are we selling these for these days? Let me look. I think it's like $10.99 for these NWO WCW decals. All right, here is the mission of the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army's mission is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to meet human needs in his name without discrimination. We believe Christ changes lives. This faith gives us motivation that goes beyond simply doing good. We have a passion for doing the most good for body, soul, and spirit. So, So from what I understand about the Salvation Army, and I'm sure they operate different in different places, but we've actually done, if you remember, I've said I was the director of the National Honor Society at my school for a number of years. And one of the things that the kids could do is volunteer at places. And one of those places was the Salvation Army. And so I used to go over there and we could look, I mean, it wasn't far from our school at all. And what they were doing at this location, there was no thrift store, none of that stuff. Now, when you donate to the Salvation Army, some of that stuff, the clothing, actually ends up where they do what they're talking about here. And they assist people financially, they assist people with clothing, and they assist people with shelter, financial planning, getting them back on their feet, putting them in apartments. There's all kinds of things that the Salvation Army does. And part of what is donated is immediately taken to where it is needed. But that is a tiny sliver of, it's less than 1% of what is actually donated to the thrift store areas. That is my experience with this particular Salvation Army. So if thrifters weren't in there buying, they wouldn't be able to do this. So not only, I think, is this argument really hurtful to people like me, I mean, you should see some of the comments. I don't want to say they're insane. They're misguided, okay? And they're vicious. And if they understood that people like us are actually helping these places fulfill their missions, they'd understand. I want to make one more point here in a second. So another keychain, and this one, I can never remember the right ones. I'm going to say it's this one, even though, yeah, I think it's this one, pretty sure. $15.95 for the Trans Am. Right there, free ship. Now, I'm going to make a little caveat and exception because there are just tons and tons of thrift stores out there for all kinds of different missions. All kinds. And they're not all, you know, cookie cutter type stuff. There is a thrift store down here in Bedford, Virginia that we've given to before. We went there with Dante Prison to Profit, if you recall. That's not open to the public. And so you can give to that thrift store. And they actually do sell goods in there. And they sell them very, very, very cheaply and only to the audience that they select and handpick. That's the kind of thrift store that is admirable. They have their own, not that all of them aren't, but that is their actual mission. So I think that's awesome. You may remember Andrea at the Blessing Place, and I can't wait, Andrea, if you're watching this. We're going to come back there and we're going to bless you some more like you blessed us. That is dual purpose. They sell at two different audiences during the same day. They first let people in and they ask them, hey, only take what you need. They're very reasonably priced, and take what you need. I walked in there, I'm like, well, you know, what am I in here for? I'm like, I can't buy this stuff. It's dirt cheap, and they've got people in need in here. And so we ended up giving money to them and then helping them through an auction, right? Because that was their charity. But then a later time in the day, they would actually sell to the general public, raise money to feed people. So there's two purposes. And so if it wasn't for resellers in there buying up their goods, they wouldn't be able to fulfill that mission. So there are tons of thrift stores out there with different missions, but 95 to 99% of them have totally different missions than serving the poor through giving them the thrifted goods. Go check that video out if you've never seen it. If you're on Facebook, travel over to YouTube for a second. Check this video out. You'll see what I'm talking about. They were giving clothes away. And I'm like, I got to talk to this lady. You're amazing. But I can't, you know, in good conscience, take them. And we ended up paying for them. And she was, you know, extremely happy. And we built a relationship. And we're going to continue that relationship this spring. Scooby-Doo as well. Actually, all three of these went to the same person, so you have to be a viewer. I see no message unless you left it in the messaging system instead of on the purchase, so my apologies. But I'm going to say thank you to Trent, Dukes Fan 06. So I know you've bought something before. Oh, no, it doesn't say repeat buyer. Maybe I did see a message. At any rate, I'm assuming you're a viewer since you bought these right here. Probably some of the most popular things that viewers buy out there. So thank you. Here is the next item, and it is one more of these. And this item was bought by the person who left that comment. And then they told me, after they watched the video, left the comment, and read my response, which was basically the impassioned argument that I just made. They said, you know, go cancel my order. I was like, okay. So I am actually, you know, I doubt this person's listening to this. I'm going to write a little note. And, you know, I'm not going to apologize that I'm passionate about this. I will apologize that maybe I could have used different words that weren't so impassioned, and that maybe we could have got the point across in a different way. But I'm proud of what I do. Very proud of what I do. I'm proud of what I'm proud of what most resellers do for them and their families. I'm not particularly a thrifter, which is why apparently this person was watching me. But I'm not ashamed. I've thrifted for years. I paid my kids' bills doing it. We have helped countless charities doing it. I've had garage sales for charities in the past, raised money for different people through reselling goods. And we continue to do it. We give constantly through reselling of goods. But you know what? You don't have to. You don't have to do that. That's a personal choice. It's a family choice. You're doing plenty of good just simply by taking care of your family, taking care of your loved ones. And you're doing nothing wrong by buying things from these thrift stores. It's what they want. It's how they fulfill their purpose. So I'm sending this and I'm giving you a complete refund. I don't expect it to do much. All I would ask is just look into it. Read these mission statements and realize that resellers are doing them a service. And, you know, I'm sorry that it's because it got a hornet's nest. If you want to go over there, maybe I should delete it. I don't know. But I think that lie, and there's another one too, but I'm not going to get into it. I've already been on my high horse. I'll do it in a video coming up. And please, you know, let me read his message really quick, because it was very kind. Hi, I'm a huge fan. Watch all your videos. When I retire, I hope to resell to pass the time. I have a 79 Trans Am. This will be perfect addition. Keep up the positive content. It's refreshing. So please don't mistake my passion for being negative. I'm not being negative. I'm reacting to the negativity towards people like me who thrift. There need not be any negativity towards them. There need not be any criticism for resellers going into thrift stores and buying things. We're helping, even if it's not our purpose, we're helping them fulfill their mission. And we're also taking care of our families. So, at any rate, thank you. I'm sorry I'm out here in different clothes. I almost forgot because there's one more item left here that I didn't pick. Blue Ridge Mama came out here. Big shout out to Blue Ridge Mama, and packed up everything so far. Still have another item to go. I was up there filming the Trash to Cash podcast with Dave and Carrie. And so we're going to do one more item right here. But I don't think we're going to have the kids in this one. They're already in bed. So I'm like, well, I think you'll survive without them one episode. And not many animals either. Maybe we'll throw Bubba's girlfriend in here. I got a little clip of something she bought the other day for us. She's been helping me out a lot. I'll throw that in here at the end of the video. So anyway, this right here sold for $12, $11. $11 plus shipping. It's like kind of a, it's not really drip glaze, but it is an ashtray. I suppose, you know, you could think about it as like a soap dish or something. But those are some kind of MCM colors right there. Not a huge money maker, but a little bit right there. $11 plus shipping. All right, everybody, we're out of here in the Supply Hut. I wanted to show you something I've been talking about. You know, we haven't really been able to kind of get the rest of the Supply Hut the way we wanted to get it. There's still an echo in here. I just haven't had time. Haven't quite finished off the back part either. The TV's ready to go and some other decorating. I've got a lot of records I want to frame. And so I asked Bub's girlfriend. She's kind of like the administrative assistant around here. She helped us with our website. She built our website, commonwealthpicker.com. Go check it out. She did a great job. She does a little bit of listing for us, but she's been helping out with tons of other stuff. And so I gave her a task. I'm like, we need something for here that looks good and reduces the sound a little bit. And we've got stuff that we need to put all over the place. And she came up with a good idea, and I want to show it to you really quick. No pressure here, but this has got to be good stuff. You know, I said, I want you to do this. So this is what showed up today, and she said she wanted to open it with us. So here we go. This is what she came up with. Some canvases. Oh no, that looks really good. I like it. So that's a nice big one. All right, I'll be right back to look at the other one. So we're gonna put that one there. I think they'll fit. Look at that, one there, one there. We got 4 of them. I like this. This is good stuff. And then Commonwealth Picker. Very cool. And I think just putting just a little bit more kind of reduce the echo on here. Oh, look at that, Garage Sale Nation. By the way, she also helps me manage Garage Sale Nation and posts the garage sales on garagesalenation.net. She's the one that does all that work for us as well. Trash to Cash podcast. Dave and Carrie will be proud. I like it. Very, very cool. I think that now we got to figure out where should we put what. We got to put Commonwealth Picker and Flipper on top, don't we?
Yeah.
Got to put Garage Sale Nation like down here. You know what? No, I'm kidding. What do you think? All 4 right here?
Yeah.
I think so. I think it'll look awesome. And this door is not going to open up on it, I don't think. But we'll have to double check that. Oh, we got a stopper there, so that should be good.
Yeah.
I'm liking it. Very, very cool. And we got some flags to redecorate for the spring out there. The Commonwealth Picker flag, well, the Commonwealth of Virginia flag was a little ragged. So we got a new one of those. And I want to see, because what size were these?
16 by 16.
16 by 16. I'm thinking that's too, well, no. I'm thinking of a different idea for our 4 sponsors. That way. Oh yeah, you could do that too. There's actually 2 spots back there. I want to show you something else here really quick while we're in here, because there's space back here on this wall. I was thinking about putting records right here. So I might do that, but I don't know. I might let Erica come up with something else back here too. I think this is good. I had to take a nap out here the other day because the dogs were driving me nuts. So great. All right. I'm very, very happy. Thank you. Appreciate it.